Happening today on Capra Review, the highly controversial ruling on an abortion pill that will impact millions of women. We talked to an abortion access correspondent on what the Supreme Court's ruling could mean. And the battle over who has a better debt limit plan President Biden is about to face off with House GOP leaders. We break down what could happen next.
Even though President Biden is expected to run, and many Democrats are assuming so, that doesn't necessarily mean that it may be a shoo-in, for President Biden.
And RFK Jr. has officially announced he's running for president. How the controversial candidate could make headway in the Democratic Party. The U.S. Supreme Court decides whether or not women's access to a widely used abortion pill will stay unchanged, and that decision could affect access to mifepristone, an abortion pill used in more than half of all abortion procedures in the United States. Hello and welcome to Capra Review. I'm Tasmin Mahfouz, and joining us now to talk about it is Amy Littlefield. She's an abortion correspondent with The Nation. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. So first, let's start with what happened this week. With the Supreme Court delaying the ruling on using mifepristone, what are you hearing about why that happened? Was it to give women, providers in blue states time to stockpile the pills?
I think that would be an optimistic reading. I think many people expected the Supreme Court to rule this week and to make an easy decision and say this lawsuit against the FDA's 23-year-old approval of mifepristone doesn't really have legal merit, is transparently ideological, and abortion rights supporters were hoping to see a short and fast decision from the Supreme Court. And instead, what happened is we got a delay. There's speculation that that's likely because there's some form of disagreement among the justices. We have to remember this is a Supreme Court that overturned Roe v. Wade just last summer and that has a conservative majority. And so I think it's possible they're considering different avenues to impose some form of restriction on the pill mifepristone, which is the first drug in the two-drug regimen for medication abortion.
So at the time that we're recording this, it's Friday afternoon as everyone's still waiting for that final ruling. So let's talk about the scenario in all the cases. First, if the justices uphold it and suspend mifepristone from the market, what happens?
So if the justices were to side with Judge Matthew Kacsmaryk and suspend or revoke the FDA's 23-year-old approval of mifepristone, then the ball would really be in the Food and Drug Administration's court to interpret. And we know that some abortion providers have said that they will wait to hear from the FDA before they stop offering mifepristone. There is an alternative method that can be offered without mifepristone if it is removed from the market, and that is a misoprostol only form of abortion, which is just taking the second drug in the protocol. It's about 88% effective on its own. It takes longer. It can cause more prolonged cramping and suffering for patients, so it's not ideal. But providers are gearing up to offer that in the event that it has to happen.
So what's the scenario if they don't? And I understand that there's even a third scenario in all of this.
Right. So, the third scenario is that the Supreme Court sides with the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit said to Judge Matthew Kacsmaryk, look, you went too far. You can't revoke 23 years after the fact, the FDA's approval of mifepristone. But they did say that they would roll back the clock to 2016, essentially, and impose a range of restrictions on mifepristone, requiring 3 in-person visits to pick it up, not allowing it to be prescribed after the 7 weeks, requiring doctors to be supervising it instead of a nurse practitioner or physician assistant, potentially in some states. And so that would have a huge and chaotic effect as providers sort of adjust to this, going back in a time machine. And the most significant, of course, is that providers in states where it's allowed have started mailing medication abortion by mail, and it's become very popular, especially in the pandemic era. And so that would have a huge chilling effect on access to medication abortion.
And Amy, we have less than a minute left. It's been such a heavily debated topic. How do you think it'll be used as a main pillar and platform in the next couple of months with the 2024 presidential campaigns?
Right. So, I mean, I think we're going to see anti-abortion activists pushing Republican candidates like Donald Trump. We're already starting to see them calling for Republican candidates to embrace a nationwide ban or embrace the revival of the 1873 Comstock Act, which would be tantamount to a nationwide ban. We're going to see abortion rights supporters who, delivered better than expected results to Democrats in the midterms, pushing Democrats to do everything they can to stockpile abortion drugs, liberalize abortion laws. And so I think it's likely to have a huge impact no matter what on the upcoming election.
Amy Littlefield, abortion access correspondent with The Nation. Thank you so much for breaking all that down for us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.